за шум учинився, що комари та й на мусі оженився, що комари та й на мусі оженився, взяв собі жінку невеличку, що не вміє шити красти чоловічку, що не вміє шити красти чоловічку. Шити красти ні варити, що не вміє з комариком добре жити, що не вміє з комариком добре жити. Полетів вже комар, чисте поле, чисте є поле зелену діброву, чисте є поле зелену діброву.
Polka group from Calgary called Żyto, and that translates as life, and that is from their first and so far only CD, and the song is a traditional Ukrainian folk song, and it is all about a mismatched wedding between a mosquito and a fly, komarek. І таким жвавим і веселим темпом розпочали нашу програму. Добрий день, шановні радіослухачі, та вітаю вас всіх на радіопередачу «Наш Холос» радіо українського коріння, яка подається вам сьогодні, так як і кожній середи з 11 до 13 години на хвилі CHLY 101.7 FM у місті Nanaimo. При мікрофоні цю годину є Павліна, а наступну годину буде з вами Оксана. Дякую, що рішили перебути з нами наступних 2 годин. Ми маємо дуже цікаві новини на сьогоднішній програмі і чудову українську музику. Hello there and welcome to Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio, coming to you on CHLY 101.7 FM in beautiful downtown Nanaimo. I'm Paula Demchuk-McQuarrie, po-ukrainske Pavlina, and I'll be your host for this first hour. Oksana will be here at 12 noon to host the show in Ukrainian. I'm delighted to have you with us. We've got a great program lined up for you. In this first hour, we've got a book review on Ukrainian Jewish heritage of a book by Father Patrick Desbois. It is a follow-up to his book called The Holocaust by Bullets. This one is called In Broad Daylight, and it is kind of the story behind the original book. So stay tuned for that. As well, we've got an interview with Troy Ruptash. Now, he is a Hollywood actor and film producer who is actually a Ukrainian boy from Vegreville. And he'll be telling us about an exciting project he's working on. It's a film set in Vegreville about a Ukrainian farmer who emigrated there after fighting for UPA, the Ukrainian insurgent army that fought both the Nazis and Soviets in World War II. So stay tuned for all all of that. We've also got our usual proverb of the week, other items of interest, and great Ukrainian music. And coming up next, staying on the topic of actors, and this is also a singer by the name of Anton Mukharsky. He is a great Ukrainian patriot, and here he is channeling a bit of Alan Jackson. Chopilka.
Там, де гоне хвилі, та й супой широкий, розляглось під вербами село Чопілки. Там і грають блюзів хлопці одинокі, і серце моє крають вишньоокі дівки. Ввечері у п'ятницю прийду з роботи, скину я спитівку та керзові боти. Чуб на бріоліню, вдіну джинси Левіс, буду рвати струни, наче справжній Елвіс. А хтось у Київ пнеться та й покращу долю, а мені миліше ці квітом криті балки. І співає моє серце, наче птиця на волі, серце я залишив у селі Чопілки. Як ракета по хайвею летить моя Волга, до Чопілків лишилось недовго. Знаю, суміш вибухова, наче той толуол, пиво, кохання та рок-н-рол. Ввечері у п'ятницю прийду з роботи, скину я спецівку та керзові боти. Чуб на бріоліню, вдіну джинси Левіс, буду рвати струни, наче справжній Елвіс. А хтось у Київ пнеться та й покращу долю, а мені миліше ці квітом криті балки. І співає моє серце, наче птиця на волі, серце я залишив у селі Чопілки. А хтось у Київ пнеться та й покращу долю, а мені миліше ці квітом криті балки. І співає моє серце, наче птиця на волі, серце я залишив у селі Чопілки, своє серце я залишив у селі Чопілки.
Someone stole the kishka, someone stole the kishka from the butcher shop. Who stole the kishka, who stole the kishka, who stole the kishka? Someone call the cop. Round and firm and fully back, it was hanging on the rack. Someone stole the kishka when I turned my back. Who stole the kishka, who stole the kishka, who stole the kishka? Oh, please bring it back. And my fine horilka, even take my rubber boots, but give me back my kishka. Who stole the kishka, who stole the kishka, who stole the kishka from the butcher shop? Now Willie found the kishka, Willie found the kishka, Willie found the kishka, he hung it on the rack. He found the kishka, he found the kishka, he found the kishka, Willie brought it back. Someone stole the kishka, someone stole the kishka, someone stole the kishka from the butcher shop. Who stole the kishka? Kishka? Who stole the Kishka? Who stole the Kishka? Someone call a cop. Now Willie found the Kishka. Willie found the Kishka. Willie found the Kishka. He hung it on the rack. He found the Kishka. He found the Kishka. He found the Kishka. Willie brought it back.
And from Winnipeg, Manitoba, that was Sluhai, and that name actually is the Ukrainian word for listen. And that is from their first CD, and a recognizable tune for just about everyone, Ukrainian or not. Who stole the kishka? Blood sausage. Yum, yum. Coming up next, we've got Dunai from Toronto, Ontario, originally from Ajax, Ontario. And this is from their most recent album. Another recognizable tune, I think, to a lot of people. A Canadian composition by Ron Cahoot. And this is the story of the Kozakea. Fly, Kozak, fly.
We are brothers for to be. Freedom is the right man had to see. So won't you fly, Cossack, try, Cossack, against the Turks and Tatars go.
Слухайте радіопрограму «Наш голос» радіо нашого коріння на радіостанції CHLY 101.7 FM у місті Nanaimo. При мікрофоні цю годину я Павліна. You're listening to Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio on CHLY 101.7 FM in beautiful downtown Nanaimo. I'm your host this first hour, Pavlina. Up next, a klezmer group from New York City called Golem, and here they are with a tune that they recorded in Echo Park, Los Angeles, Train Across Ukraine.
My name is Hello, how are you? Is this seat taken? You may ask of the traveler in third class. Ich bin ein Reisener, dritte Klasse. Mein Name ist Sholem Alechem. San je frag mit mir, dem Reisener dritte Klasse. The things I've seen and in between 11 months of the year on the road with you, my dear. Girls in white, men in black, dogs and cats, brass and tack, golden teeth, crooked track. Then I take the train right back. Traveler, third class. My name is Hello, how are you? Is this seat taken? You may ask of the traveler in third class. Ich bin ein Reisener, dritte Klasse. Mein Name ist Sholem Alechem. San je frag mit mir, dem Reisener dritte Klasse. Through fields of grain, in snow and rain. 11 months of the year in the train across Ukraine. Girls in black, men in white. Children yell, women fight. Golden dreams, dimming light. Then I take the train all night. Traveler, third class. My name is Sholem Alechem. Is this seat taken? You may ask of the traveler in third class. Ich bin ein Reisener, dritte Klasse. Mein Name ist Hello, how are you? San je frag mit mir, dem Reisener dritte Klasse. The things I've seen and in between 11 months of the year on the road with you, my dear. Through fields of grain and snow and rain. 11 months of the year in the train across Ukraine, in the train across Ukraine, in the train across Ukraine.
And now for a look at Ukraine's rich Jewish heritage, then and now, brought to you by the Ukrainian Jewish Encounter based in Toronto, Ontario.
In this edition of Ukrainian Jewish Heritage, we will be discussing in broad daylight the secret procedures behind the Holocaust by bullets by Father Patrick Dubois. In 2008, Father Patrick Dubois published The Holocaust by Bullets, a priest's journey to uncover the truth behind the murder of 1.5 million Jews. It described how Nazi mobile killing units called the Einsatzgruppen murdered more than 1 million people in Eastern Europe during World War II. His new book, In Broad Daylight, continues this gruesome narrative based on over 4,000 interviews, as well as recently released Soviet archival materials. This new book explains how Jews were killed in broad daylight, with the cooperation of their non-Jewish neighbors. The way in which these crimes unfolded, from the pre-dawn hours well into the night, remains little known to the general public. The goal of this book is to remedy that. As a young priest, Dubois discovered that his grandfather witnessed mass murders of Jews at the Rawa Ruska camp on the Poland-Ukraine border as a French prisoner during World War II. As a result, Dubois started searching for the mass graves of those killed by Nazi mobile killing units called the Einsatzgruppen. With a dedicated team of volunteers, Dubois traveled through Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia, interviewing aging witnesses who described the horrific massacre of the Jews. He described his initial research in the Holocaust by bullets. In his second volume, In Broad Daylight, he explains how the crime took place, the process by which it became concretely possible. This heartbreaking but intensely compelling book describes the people and the process used in the Holocaust by bullets, including the architect, the requisitioned, the diggers, the rapes, the transporters, the layers of planks, the cooks, the shooters, the curious children, the fillers, and the sanitizers. Dubois writes with both clarity and purpose, drawing even reluctant readers into a narrative about man's inhumanity to man. Perhaps the most shocking aspect of his description of the method is that German soldiers only did the actual shooting of the Jews. All the other work, creating the ghetto, transporting the condemned people, digging the graves, laying the planks, filling the pits, cooking for the shooters, and selling the clothing and possessions of those killed, was done by requisitioned villagers. The stories told by the now elderly people who were complicit in the murders are both shocking and unbelievable. Some speak dispassionately about their participation in these atrocities. A witness called Andre spoke of his neighbors the way we speak of animals. In sharp contrast, a witness named Gregory described how he tried to shelter some Jews in his home. Dubois concludes that these very different stories show the reality of the Holocaust by bullets. Between the stories of Andre and Gregory, there was an abyss, the abyss of human responsibility. In Broad Daylight is a very difficult book to read, but at the same time, it is an important addition to the history of the Holocaust. Dubois writes with brutal realism, yet he manages to capture the imagination of readers while describing unbelievable atrocities committed in the name of the Nazis. The Germans chose a family, raped, stole, and then killed. In sharp contrast, there are many stories of friendship between villagers and Jews. Alexandra loves Yama as a young girl loves a young man. The Nazis' intended fracturing of the human race could not touch their love. The details of the method of killing the Jews are horrendous. The music playing during the shooting, the wounded victims being buried alive in the pits, and the cooks preparing feasts for the Einsatzgruppen after the massacres. It took many pairs of hands, voluntary, requisitioned, or forced, to ensure that the Jews were publicly murdered. Father Dubois has written a heartbreaking but very insightful addition to the history of the Holocaust, which he began in his book, The Holocaust by Bullets. Readers could order both of these books and read them in order. However, it may be difficult to read them together because of the emotions which will inevitably arise. In Broad Daylight is a stark reminder that we need to learn from history so that these events will never be repeated. Father Dubois is a Catholic priest and professor at Georgetown University's Center for Jewish Civilization. He is president of Yahad in Unam, a global humanitarian organization dedicated to identifying and commemorating the sites of Jewish and Roma mass executions in Eastern Europe during World War II. The Holocaust by Bullets won the 2008 National Jewish Book Award. He has also been recognized with the Humanitarian Award from the U.S. Holocaust Museum and the 2017 Lantos Human Rights Prize. In 2018, he published The Terrorist Factory, ISIS, the Yazidi Genocide, and Exporting Terror. He currently lives in Washington, D.C. and Paris, France. In Broad Daylight and the Holocaust by Bullets are available at Chapters Indigo and Amazon. This has been Ukrainian Jewish Heritage on Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio. I'm Myra Jenick in Toronto. Until next time, Shalom.
Ukrainian Jewish Heritage is brought to you by the Ukrainian Jewish Encounter based in Toronto, Ontario. To find out more about their work, visit their website and follow them on Facebook and Twitter. Transcripts and audio files of this and earlier broadcasts of Ukrainian Jewish Heritage are available at their website, ukrainianjewishencounter.org, as well as at the Nash Holos website, www.nashholos.com. You're listening to Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio on CHLY 101.7 FM in Nanaimo. I'm your host this hour, Pavlina. Vyslухайте радіопередачу Nash Holos, радіо нашого коріння на радіостанції CHLY 101.7 FM у місті Nanaimo. Говорить Pavlina. And the Kubasonics up next with a tune from their first album, Miaso, and Ukrainian answer to Charlie Daniels.
Down to Vegreville, he was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind because he was way behind and he was willing to make a deal. When he came upon this young man with Cimbala, he was playing it hot. And the devil jumped up on a hickory stump. He said,
"Boy, let me tell you what. Guess you didn't know it, but I'm a Cimbala player too. And if you care to take this dare, I'm willing to bet with you. Now you play pretty good Cimbala, boy, but you give the devil his due. I bet Cimbala's good against your soul because I think I'm better than you."
The boy said,
"My name's Slavko, and it might be a sin, but I'll take that bet. You're gonna regret I'm the best that's ever been."
Slavko, take those sticks and play that old Cimbala hard, 'cause hell's broke loose in Vegreville and the devil deals the cards. And if you win, you get this shiny Cimbala made of gold, but if you lose, the devil gets your soul.
the devil stepped on forward and he said,
"I'll start this race."
And fire flew from his fingertips as he opened up his case. As he touched the sticks across the strings, it made an evil hiss. And a band of demons joined right in and it sounded something like this. When the devil finished, Slavko said,
"That's pretty good, old son, but you sit back in that chair right there and let me show you how it's done."
He played
Fire in the mountain, run, boys, run. Devil's in the house of the rising sun. Chicken in a red pan, taking out dough. Matsumoto hot dog, no child, no.
The devil bowed his head because he knew that he'd been beat. and he laid the golden cymbale on the ground at Slauka's feet. Slauka said,
Hey, thou coming back if you ever want to try it again. I told you once, Tejolero, I'm the best that's ever been.
Keep playing.
Fire in the mountain, run, boys, run. Devils in the house of the rising sun. Chicken in the bread pan, taking out dough. Matsumoto hot dog, no child, no.
An Alberta-born actor is set to film a movie about Ukrainian culture and identity in Vegreville, Alberta, this summer. The film is They Who Surround Us, and it's written and will be directed by Troy Ruptash. He's based in Los Angeles and has been working in the film and television industry for nearly 30 years, but is originally from Vegreville, Alberta. His production team also includes Vegreville natives. Filming is set to begin in August. Casting is currently being finalized, and locals may get a chance to be a background performer in this film. Troy kindly agreed to speak with us by phone from Vegreville to give us some details about this exciting project. So thank you, Troy, for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and your production team. You're a Vegreville boy made good in Hollywood, and you're not the only one. So tell us about your journey from Vegreville to LA.
Sure. So, I was born and raised in Vegreville and, quickly sort of moved around the country a bit because I was originally a competitive skater.
Oh.
So, but then I went to theater school in Toronto at Ryerson, and that took me to New York and spent about 15 years in New York. And then from there, I did a film that took me to Los Angeles. But I'm finding that what's giving me true meaning and purpose is coming back to Vegreville to tell the story about my ancestors. And through this project, I connected with some incredible people who also are very connected to Vegreville. My executive producers, Sandy and Grant Wild, who are now in Calgary, but Grant is originally from Vegreville, so strong ties there. And Dan Milliken, who used to be Roseanne Yakunchuk, who's been producing films for over 27 years and originally from Vegreville. So it's really exciting.
That's cool. So you found these people in LA.
Well, they found me and we found each other through the Hometown Heroes Project, which is how this all got going last summer. I entered it into a competition sponsored by the Duplass brothers. They're producers in Hollywood. And I was a finalist in that competition. And through that competition, people heard about the project and it gained momentum. And it was really wonderful. That's what got it all going.
So what is this project then? You said it was a competition, so it's pretty popular?
Yeah, the Duplass brothers, it's wonderful what they're doing because they started the competition. When I entered it, it was just its second year. But what they wanted to do is encourage filmmakers to come back to their hometowns to write and shoot films. And they especially wanted to encourage filmmakers to write narratives that covered and represented underrepresented cultures and communities. So when I heard about that, I thought it was a perfect fit because, I feel like the Ukrainian narrative, there's definitely been a lot of documentaries that deal with the Ukrainian narrative. But in terms of feature films, I feel like we're really underrepresented. So I wanted to change that.
Was there anything that kind of made you, what was the catalyst to A, to enter this competition and B, to choose this particular topic, your roots?
Well, a very dear friend of mine in Los Angeles, Jackie Katzman, knew that I had this desire to write a movie and I wanted to do it in my hometown. And so she told me about the Hometown Heroes Project. So that's how that came about. And so I'm forever grateful to her for that. And then what started the creative process was a photograph, two photographs, one of my great uncle, Stefan Boysan, and then one of the Ruptash side of the family. in front of their first homestead near Harry Hill, Alberta in the early 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
And I became fascinated. I mean, I always knew a bit about my family history and my ancestry and Ukrainian heritage.
Mm-hmm.
But there was something about, especially the picture of Stefan Boysan, that I was so drawn to. And I thought, here is a member of my family that I just had this strong desire. I wish I could have known him because the little I learned about him and the struggles he went through. And as I began to learn more about him and all my ancestors, I suddenly felt like I come from such strong people. And, of course, I learned a lot about the struggles they went through, like a lot of the Ukrainian immigrants that settled in Alberta. But somehow from learning about the struggles, it also made me very aware of their strength and their sense of community and faith. And it emboldened me somehow. And I felt like, I wanted to pay homage to them and to what they have given me. And, hope maybe other people experience that as well.
Mm-hmm. Have you been to Ukraine?
Yes, I never had. But after last summer, when I started the Hometown Heroes Project, the great thing about it, I met so many people through the project. And one of the people I met, Janice Moore, who's come on board as well with the project as an associate producer, she facilitated a trip to Ukraine together with a friend of hers, Roman, in Ukraine. So suddenly I had, I knew I wanted to go to Ukraine at some point, but suddenly I found myself there a month later. And it was incredible to be there. As soon as I got there, I felt an immediate sense of connection to the land and to the people.
Yeah.
So when we went to Ukraine, we had, through Roman and another woman, Nadia, they helped do some genealogical work. And when we got there, we met with a priest in a village where my maternal grandmother, she grew up there. And my great uncle, Stefan Boysan, the one that the picture inspired me to write this project, he was there. And we had always thought that he had died in Siberia in a prison camp. But through a letter we found and had translated, we found out he got out of prison and fought and was a commander with UPA, with the partisan army. So that was profound enough. But then when I got to Ukraine, we had this surprise, amazing miracle happen where not only did he get out of prison, fight with UPA, but he actually got married and had a daughter. And we met her. And so my mom has a first cousin, and it was amazing. It was really incredible.
Oh, wow. It is fantastic to go and find family there. And and that connection with the soil, with the land. It's, Canada's home. It's, and it's always going to be home. I was born here. Parents were born here. But something about just getting in touch with your ancestral roots is really special. And I have a feeling, that your film is going to do that for a lot of people. So tell us a little bit, without giving away, too much. Tell us what this story is about.
So it's about a Ukrainian immigrant farmer named Roman. Most of the movie takes place in 1987, Gregorville. But he fled Ukraine in 1943 as an 8-year-old boy. And throughout the film, you discover that something that happens in present-day Alberta triggers his memories and almost sort of forces him to deal with and confront what happened to him as a young boy in Ukraine before he fled there. So I wanted to address the struggles and a lot of the trauma that people faced as they fled Ukraine and came to Alberta. But it was really important for me to infuse it with a sense of hope and a sense of, I was struck one time when I was reading about UPA and how one of the things that kept them going was that they felt that they knew that they may not experience all the fruits of their labor, but there's this feeling, this common thread I find with my Ukrainian ancestors and Ukrainian heritage and culture, this idea of making better lives for yourself and for your children, for your children's children. And so I wanted that to be sort of a central thematic element in the film.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's kind of a long-winded way of telling you a bit about the film, but hopefully not giving too much away.
Yeah, it sounds sounds like it's going to be a great film, a great story, and very thought-provoking. Now, UPA is the Ukrainian freedom fighters. They fought the Nazis and the Soviets. How much of that will be in your film? To clarify that for viewers.
Yeah, well, again, without giving too much away, but the film flashes back to 1943 Ukraine,
Mm-hmm.
and my great uncle was a commander with UPA, but in the film, it's Roman, the main character, it's his uncle who is a fighter with UPA.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to give anything away, but definitely the 1943 flashes back to all the stuff around UPA and the freedom fighters.
Yeah.
And I was really happy to learn about, and there's so much more to learn about UPA because I really didn't know much about their journey.
Yeah. It's too well kept secret. So look forward to that, the flashbacks. But it's set in 1987, Vegreville. So how different is Vegreville now, where you'll be actually doing the filming from 1987? Are there little pockets still in from 1987 that?
Yes. Well, that's one of the things I love about Vegreville, and I think why it feels so much like home here, because there are things that it feels like have never changed or haven't changed since I was here.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that in the best possible way, because it just feels like there's something timeless about it, and yet something that always connects me to how I felt about Vegreville as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have to make a few adjustments, I'm sure, but for the most part, it's going to be a pretty easy read of 1987 Vegreville.
Mm-hmm. Just a curiosity as a moviegoer, but I'm curious about cars, for example. Cars, where do you bring them in from Hollywood, or do you scout around car shows and find old vehicles and rent them, or how does that work?
Well, yeah, we'll have to rent vehicles, or sometimes people will loan them out, which is great because, the community's been so supportive, which is wonderful. Mm-hmm. I know there are some people, my father has told me about some people who are collectors of cars and people who have offered, I have a great truck from 1974 or whatever. And so that's exciting to me because, no vehicles after 1987 in the movie.
Yeah, that's great. And will the egg be there? The big egg, the giant pisanka. Will it be in the film?
I would love to get it in there because, yes, I believe it was definitely here in 1987. So we'll see how that all works out with production design and my team that comes into place. But that would be wonderful.
So
I want people to really know this is Vegreville.
Yeah, exactly. I think pretty much everybody knows around the world knows that egg. So you're going to be starting filming in August, and when do you think it'll be hitting theaters?
Yes, it'll definitely be hitting theaters. We start filming the second week in August, and we've got a 22-day shoot, and then I plan on going right into post-production and editing the film here.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to start the festival circuit early spring of 2020. We would start the festival circuit and then ideally be in theaters and available to watch as early as the fall.
Oh, cool. So you're starting mid-August, and what's going on right now?
Right now, I'm scouting locations. My producer, Roseanne Milliken, and executive producers, Sandy and Grant Wild, were in town with me here a couple of weekends ago, and we were going around looking at locations, and I've continued that after they left. And then I started, one of the lead characters actually in the film is an 8-year-old boy. And I know, as you said in the press release that's been going around, that there will be an opportunity to maybe be a background performer. But actually, there may be an opportunity for someone to be a lead in the movie as well.
Oh.
I've been already sort of scouting, and there are a couple of young boys from the Vegreville area. I would love it if they were from Vegreville.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been looking into casting, and I will be having actually a workshop coming up, free acting workshop in Vegreville.
Okay, great. So if anybody's listening, especially from the Vegreville area, but you probably wouldn't turn away people from other parts of the province.
Not at all.
Yeah.
As far as people are willing to travel, and there'll be more information coming out about the actual dates and everything about the free acting workshop. But yeah, you don't have to have any experience to come to this workshop. If you've got any interest in acting or want to know what it's about or what goes into creating a character for a film, by all means, please come and we'll have fun and you'll get to learn. And, I'm going to do one for kids and then I'm going to do one for adults too.
Oh, great.
And then from that, maybe someone will have the opportunity to audition and be in the movie.
And so when and where will this be taking place?
We are not officially releasing the dates or anything yet, but that will be coming out soon in an official announcement. But it will be early August, and there'll be lots of information coming out about that soon.
Okay, and how can people find it?
You can go to theywhosurroundusmovie.com.
Okay.
Or follow us on Facebook, which is They Who Surround Us Movie on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Find me on Instagram, Troy Ruptash, at Troy Ruptash. Okay. Basically, if you Google They Who Surround Us Movie, it'll take you to one of the platforms where you can get all the information. But probably the website would be the best.
Okay. Theywhosurroundusmovie.com?
Correct.
And there's a great trailer if anybody wants to see what you look like. You'll be acting in the movie, will you?
Yes, I'm actually. So I wrote it, I'm directing it, and I'm playing the lead character of Roman. So I'm going to be busy.
Yeah, no kidding. This isn't your first acting gig either.
No, I've been acting for quite a few years, and I've done a lot of television films and stage in New York and Los Angeles. But this is the first time I'm going to be doing it all in terms of having written the script and directing it and playing the lead.
Well, really looking forward to seeing the film and the acting workshops. That's a really nice thing to be doing and mutually beneficial, of course, but it's great to bring the community in. And I guess that's probably part of what this project is all about, is to bring to connect with the roots. And that's always a good thing, I think.
Yeah, and I want to create community. I want to create connection, and I want to create opportunities for people. So I just want to stress again, even if you have no experience, go to the website and stay tuned because it's going to be a lot of fun, and I would love to have people come out.
Thanks so much for taking time to talk to us, and good luck with the project.
And thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me and help me get the word out about the movie, because it's a very important project and very dear and near to my heart. And so thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. My pleasure. And look forward to talking to you again soon.
That sounds great.
Well, there aren't very many tunes specifically about Vegreville in the Nash Holos Music Library other than the one that you heard before the interview by the Kubasonics. But here's one, an instrumental by a couple of kids from Vegreville who played Cimbala really, really well, Jonathan and his sister Diana Locker. Here they are with the Vegreville Polka.
when the dusts of battle had settled down, and our warrior Cossacks looked sadly round to see how many brethren they had lost, they'd cry out at the heavy cost. It wasn't the first time their swords had clashed, and they knew very well it wouldn't be the last. They'd pray to God they had a war to win. Their beloved homeland would rise again.
Budmo hey, we'll be, Budmo hey, hey, hey. Budmo hey, we'll be.
And when the pioneers' backs were about to break under the toils of this new land, they prayed to God in heaven above, how much more could they withstand? They placed holy crosses into the ground, and soon new strength to go on was found. Their faith had brought them another day. They'd get back on their feet and they'd say,
Budmo hey, we'll be, Budmo hey, hey, hey. Budmo hey, we'll be.
From the time that our bard inspired us to strive for a better fate, it took many years, many sacrifices, many went to heaven's gate. But when the winds of freedom swept across Ukraine in the summer of '91, you could hear generations from the past join together with those of today as one and yell,
Budmo hey, hey, Budmo hey, hey. We'll be, Budmo hey.
And as I watched my father be laid to rest in this his, but not his land, I looked my boy straight in the eyes, and I'd pray to God he'd understand. I said, this was a faithful son of Ukraine. Remember and cherish this bond. And then my son looked at me, and he said with a strength that seemed to come from a world beyond, he said,
Budmo hey, hey, Budmo hey, hey. We'll be, Budmo hey, hey, hey. Budmo hey, hey, Budmo hey, hey. We'll be. Budmo hey, Budmo hey, Budmo hey, hey, hey.
And Shum from Winnipeg from their third CD, Unplugged, and the story of Ukrainian immigration to Canada. Budmo. Сьогодні була з вами Павліна. Нагадую, ви слухаєте радіопрограму «Наш Холос», радіо нашого коріння, на хвилі CHLY 101.7 FM у місті Nanaimo. Залишайтеся з нами наступну годину. Далі передаю мікрофону Оксані. Запрошую послухати трохи про історію і традиції, розповість Оксана. Але перед тим я хочу залишити вас такими словами мудрості. Дурниці говорять, то так, як водою шити. And our proverb of the week translates as, to talk nonsense is like sowing water. And that brings us to the end of the first hour of Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio here on CHLY 101.7 FM in Nanaimo. Please stay with us as Oksana takes over the microphone to host the next hour. Meanwhile, please join me here again next Wednesday from 11 a.m. till 12 noon. And until then, do stay in touch with both Oksana and me via our Facebook page and Twitter. And in between broadcasts, visit us online where you'll find transcripts, audio archives, and the podcast feed, and that's www.nashholos.com. You can also find us on Mixcloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and other podcast places, and of course on your favorite podcast app. So stay tuned next for the Nash Holos Ukrainian Hour with Oksana, followed by Wellness Wednesday to learn how to be healthy naturally. And at 2 p.m., join Gord Bibby for 2 hours of great oldies on Groovin' with Bibby G. I'm Pavlina. Thanks so much for listening. Do zустрічі.